G.I. Joe fans, Joe Motion Videos 82 here. It is time for another G.I. Joe toy review. I apologize for the lighting. Normally by this time when I'm shooting, the sun is a little higher over my house, but since it is the fall now, going into winter, maybe winter for some of you guys on the other side of the country, it is fall for us out here in Arizona. My room just isn't lit up very well right now because the way the sun is traveling is setting further towards the south, than it would, just going right over the top of my house. So it has nothing to do with G.I. Joe. Absolutely nothing. So I apologize for boring you with that. So we're going to be looking at a vehicle and action figure today as a part of the theme this month of being action figures that had only one run during the vintage series. And it really is a shame for a lot of these action figures that Hasbro could have done so much with them. But during the mid-80s, they were in full swing, so really they had other ideas, I'm sure, and instead of repainting and re-releasing action figures, they couldn't do it all with every one of them. I understand that much. So we're going to be looking at the 86 Stun today. It was released as a part of the 5th series. It had a one-year run from 86 to 87 when it was discontinued in 1988. Doesn't mean that they weren't on the shelves in 1988. They just did not make them in 1988 anymore. I'm sure some of them were maybe on a discount store or even still selling for original retail price at that time, which I have it right here. It was sold for $6.69 for a full vehicle and figure, I should say. That seems pretty cheap, but in 1986, that was kind of a stretch for a lot of people, a lot of families. So this may have been a Christmas present for me at one time, but I never received it for Christmas. And for the more affluent families, it was nothing. And a friend of mine, John, came. It was just he and his mother, so she had plenty of money to spend on him. And I remember he got a new toy every week, and the Stun was one of them. The Stun was such an awesome toy. I was in love with it from day one. Why? Well, because it carried 6, 8, 10, 11 action figures, but it was free rolling and it did move great. Anything we could launch over a ramp, we loved it. And sometimes that was our playtime, was just jumping vehicles off of ramps. And that was it, man. That was hours of fun right there. So, but that wasn't the end. 88 was not the end. Hasbro had an overstock. I think they overestimated the sales on these. And so in 1989, the Motor Viper was released again on Hasbro Direct as a special missions driver. Came with crankcase, I believe, and maybe a HISS driver, I think. So, but that wasn't the end. Okay, so from 91 to 92, he was released again at Hasbro Direct as a part of the Cobra patrol unit that came with the Strato Viper and a Fang. Now that is cool. I mean, you could have that guy pilot the Fang, you'd have the Strato Viper pilot the Fang, or even if you lost the figure and you had the vehicle, or you picked up at a yard sale or whatever, you could add another guy to your stun if you had it. And the Fang, if you can remember from my very, very early video, it was shot with a poor camera. I reviewed the Fang, and the Fang had a very long run in the vintage line, so I won't get back into that. So the big problem with the Fang, or with the stun, was the plastic got a little bit brittle over time. The engine covers, when I look at it, I'll show you that the engine covers would snap, and the notorious flags. And this one doesn't have the flags. I apologize for that. They snapped off and broke very easily. Just on a thin piece of plastic, and for some reason the red plastic, and then later with the yellow plastic when it was released again in 1989 as the Python Patrol stun. I hate that I have a sneeze lingering, but you see right there how thin the flag post was, and it always snapped off right there. And this is mine from when I was a kid. You see, very, very cool. I'll cover this more when I review it. So the stun was a popular enough vehicle, and I just so happened to have the box when I purchased this online. The gentleman was selling it with the box, so you can see the really cool box art that came with it. This was purchased from Target for $10, $9.99. And the back of the box, of course the file card's clipped out, but he was cool enough to sell me the file card along with it. And Cobra, or G.I. Joe, was running a really cool promotion, or Hasbro I should say, the Invasion of Cobra Island. It says, free mapping closed, win the USS Flag. You kidding me? I missed out on this opportunity to win the USS Flag. No purchase required. For a free map and details, send a self-addressed stamped envelope. Residents of the states of Washington and Vermont may omit the stamp. Pretty cool. Addressed to Live the Adventure, P.O. Box 9035, St. Louis, Missouri 63102. Complete rules on the map. Request must be received by March 1st, 1987. I missed it by 31 years. Talk about Johnny come lately. Sweepstakes ends April 15th, 1987. Who won this? Who won it? Did anybody win it? I remember when I was a kid, Captain Crunch was running a little toy giveaway. They were giving away a bicycle. You had to call this number to see if you won. And my neighbor actually won it. So in the 80s, toy companies are really cool, giving away some very nice prizes, even cereal companies. But a freaking USS Flag, a 6-foot-long playset pseudo vehicle, they gave that bad boy away? Who won it? Or was it just a ploy to clear this off their shelves because they overestimated? But it has that neat little sticker there. But who am I to judge? I can't judge Hasbro too harshly. They gave us years and years of fun. So let's go ahead and get into this review, man. Dying to get it done. This is cool stuff. Alrighty, I had to change frames on that. This bad boy's so big. So let's go ahead and take a look at the driver first. Since he didn't come with any accessories, but this is a well-made action figure. A lot going for it. He is obviously Cobra blue. A lot of that is splashed over what appears to be a light blue jumpsuit. There's a lot of really cool hoses attached to him, possibly a cooling unit, and is a neat little scarf sculpted onto him there. Gauntlets, black gauntlets over blue gloves, and the gloves are actually painted on, so it's painted over. It's a paint app over this light blue. He has a little bit of shoulder armor, kind of Zartan looking. He has this cool helmet, goes all the way around, light blue on the top, and has, I know what they're going for. They're trying to go for a visor on this, but it just looks pretty weird to me. That always bothered me, but it's in that notorious silver paint. You can see on this example it's wearing off. This guy got a lot of love. Came with 2 pistols sculpted on to each leg. He has these really cool boots, and those are supposed to be pull-up straps there on the side of these boots. All in all, he is a solid figure. I would safely call him a deluxe figure given the amount of time that they spent on the sculpt of this. So we'll set him off to the side. Now let's get to the star of the show here. Even though this the stun didn't have a single run during the vintage line, the driver did, so it qualifies by default for this topic. All right. See from the front here that sits up kind of high. So when you have a figure in the gunner's seat, he's kind of looking up in the air. But fortunately the guns tilt, but if you want him to fire straight ahead, he's still kind of sort of looking up in the air. Little design flaw in my opinion, but it's okay. The cool gimmick on this, if you guys don't know, splits apart. That was the coolest thing when I was a kid. These 2 gun pods split apart. And bam, fire off to the sides. And they just clip together very easily. The seat, I'll just move the camera. The seat right here, great sculpt on it. I mean, they spent some time on this. The seat looks like it's padded, has a nice Cobra sigil. Each seat is the same. Flip it around, and there isn't much as far as control panels go. But the seat and the gun are both connected, so they tilt up at once. The seat has a foot peg to hold your figure in, but we never used it. It was next to impossible in some cases to get that figure to hook onto the foot peg. And the guns are twin barrel laser cannons. Very nice sculpting on it. Move it around here to the command seat. Again, nice features on that with the rib seat and Cobra sigil. And down in the bottom, if you could see it, there aren't any foot pegs for the driver, but there's some nice machinery on both sides. He does have 2 joysticks to hold on to. 3 foot pegs on each side. And on the back has a rear gunner seat with a pivoting machine gun with a little handle on the side. And the gunner has a leg slot, so he won't slip out, but the poor sod that has to sit in that seat, nothing for him to hold on to. You see, he just fall out real easily. But this guy, he's not coming out. Now, to point out here, the red plastic does become brittle over time. One of the mushroom pegs snapped off, so that's something to look for on the aftermarket. On each side, it has these nice removable engine covers. Again, brittle plastic. The main tab that locks it into place snapped off, but it does display well with the engine cover on there. And the motor heads down there at Hasbro gave us a very nice motor on each side. The wheels are free moving, as you can see. They're rubber, nice feature. You see that it has the Cobra sigil on all 3 hubcaps. Those do come off. And the back here, you can see the hinge. Really cool symbol right there. This would look great on a t-shirt. A double-headed Cobra on 3 wheels. Then you have your Cobra marking there. Big caution hot barrel. And it has three foot pegs on each side, so you have 6 Cobras riding on the rails, 1 in the gunner seat, 1 in the full seat or the jump seat, command seat, and 2 in the gun pods. So that gives you a total of 6, 8, 9, 11 figures to ride on this. The foot pegs are kind of thick, so be careful with it. And it doesn't necessarily fit very well with these action figures. So you have to have them kind of sit cockeyed, or even have their legs hanging off the sides to fit them all on there. And personally, we didn't use that because it was just too clunky and cumbersome, but a nice feature. And it's great for displays, but other than that, it just wasn't practical when playing with the vehicle, because we just ended up knocking the action figures off during play. And has a nice rear profile. On the back here, you can see there are 2 covers. They're just sculpted on. Those lift off. And the rear seats as well are padded as well. And this guy is pretty dusty. I tried hard to dust it off, but it needs a good cleaning. That looks like dirt. I didn't clean this up much when I received it in the mail a few months ago. I just put it up on the shelf. I was so excited to have them. And the notorious flags peg into those holes. So let's go ahead and take a look at the file card. As you can see, it was clipped off of the box. Now, if it came with Hasbro Direct, the back would be a different color, maybe a red color. I don't have that card variant, and I'm not really going to chase it down, mainly because of expense. It reads codename Motor Viper. It is the stunned pilot, not the driver. My apologies. The Motor Viper Corps attracts a type of individual who, without the benefit of education and ambition, might have joined the Dreadnoks. Okay, so these guys are a little bit educated. Otherwise, they would just be a An undisciplined, unruly lot. The Cobra Recon and Premier Defense Forces are disciplined, efficient, and highly motivated in the manner of all elite groups. This is fairly surprising, seeing that the forces seems to be comprised of the type that enjoys driving at high speeds and finds amusement in danger. Okay. Sounds like a bunch of teenage boys, in my opinion. As far as we can figure, the Motor Vipers don't get paid any better than the Guard Vipers or Sea Vipers. Sea Viper, huh? Maybe they're referring to Crimson Guard and Eels. Interesting, or the Moray driver. Nor do they receive any special privileges or benefits. They have their own distinctive uniform, but it is no flashier than the rest. Why then would a Cobra volunteer for such an obviously hazardous duty unless it was the danger itself that appealed to him? All right. That is a very well written file card. It gives a little bit about the personality of this figure, and it begs the question, why would they volunteer for this duty? Well, as you can see, they are sitting up in a seat that's high above the vehicle and makes them a target, just like their counterpart would. Wrong word to use. I'm sorry, it wasn't counterpart, but their opposite, which would have been cross country in the Havoc, where he sat on top of the Havoc in harm's way. So these guys, they love to drive fast, and they love a dangerous vehicle. I think they just did it for two reasons. One, a cool uniform, and two, they got to drive in a really cool vehicle and be in command of said vehicle. Gave them a little bit of power. Okay, so being a driver of the vehicle, they were obviously in charge of the vehicle. Pilot of the vehicle. As the box art shows, it has one of the leaders of Cobra and a gun pod, and it has a Crimson Guard. The Motor Viper is pointing, shoot there, and then has a poor little Televiper sitting in the back seat. Those poor Televipers, man, they don't get any love. So that makes them one of my favorites. They're the underdogs, so I'm rooting for them. But this is a great toy. I really love it. It is definitely top shelf for me. Man, I just can't say enough good about it. Part of that is sentimentality. Played with it a lot as a kid. It was one of our favorite go-to vehicles. So, you're looking for this on the aftermarket, it is very surprisingly available out there. There are quite a few of them. The prices do go up and down, so let's get into my favorite segment, Byron Rants. Yes, indeedy, feed the needy. Okay, boys and girls. If you are looking for the flag, now mind you, a lot of these did not survive play, so this I can go with. $14.95. I could go with that. That is fairly reasonable for a flag that survived, because they bent real easily. They didn't snap off during play, but you know, you throw it in your toy box, the toys are resting on top of it. Those flags do tend to break. That's what happened with us on our Python Patrol stun. The flags just broke off from storage. If you want a complete stun without the flags, $13.99. Again, I cannot complain. $13.99 for this. I think I paid that much 7 months ago for the box file card driver, the whole shebang-a-bang. I would consider the box being a little bit more valuable, but the guy needed to clear out his basement. So I paid that much for the whole lot, which is incredibly nice of him. You want a complete stun with the driver and file card, $39.99. Yeah, I wouldn't go higher than 30 on that, just in my opinion, because there's so much of it out there. But again, it has the flags on it, so that has the appeal. The Motor Viper, okay, $11 to $15.99. That's a little steep for me. 11 or even $15.99 for an action figure that has been available for so long. In my research, it didn't say that they recolored it in any way to distinguish it from the retail as opposed to Hasbro Direct. Sometimes they'll, or a lot of times they'll recolor the vehicle to distinguish between the two. They didn't do that with the driver. It's like I said, Hasbro must have had a whole lot of these in stock, and they had to clear it out. So that's what they did, and it would have cost more to retool, recolor. So they just sold it as is. So, just like I said, just educated guess, my opinion, that is a little too steep, in my opinion. Seeing that I bought 3 of them for $10, but that was from a friend. So, you know, little difference there. Okay, the hubcaps do detach, as I mentioned. So the hubcaps sell anywhere from $2.99 to $3.75. And I do have a few hubcaps. I bought a box of G.I. Joe junk, and I got a stun out of it, but there were also a few extra hubcaps in there. So just a little display tip for you guys if you're into building dioramas like I am. These hubcaps, these make great Cobra wall art. Just a little tip on that. I work with styrofoam, so what I did was just popped one of those into a styrofoam board, put a little tape on the back of it to secure it into place, but it made for a great bit of wall art behind Destro's throne. So back to my rants. Okay, here we go. Somebody is selling one flag with the rear gun that's intact, plus all 3 wheel covers. Like I said before, you could ask whatever you want. They are your toys. And this guy, this was a flat asking price. You didn't have an or better offer under this. $79.95. Come on. There could be somebody who's well-to-do and very desperate to complete their stun. So somebody will pay for it. Somebody will buy it, and that's the problem. I shouldn't say it's a problem, but that's the reason why these prices are staying so high, is because people are still willing to pay it. And that, like I've said this many times over and over again, that it makes it hard for the knuckle-busting 9-to-5er with a family and a mortgage and car payments to enjoy this hobby, to share it with his kids because of the price being so expensive. And even for me, single, there's a mortgage to pay, but I have a child, but that does free up some money for me. But I still wouldn't pay these high prices because I have a budget, and that's what got me started doing this segment. I just didn't have a name for it. Is hopefully that people will start to realize this and start lowering their prices. So in interest of time, I'll cut that off. All right, for 3 hubcaps, $10. Okay, that's $3.33 a piece. I'll go with that. A hubcap with wheel, with a rubber wheel, $8. Not bad. File card, $269 to $9.99. Okay. $10, a little steep for a file card, but it was a driver file card, so that automatically ramps the price up just a little bit. Okay. There are some people out there selling complete stuns with file card, with driver, $96 to $99.95. There's 2 complete ones that are sold as mint and boxed, but I would say look close at those pictures to make sure it is the factory tape, which came with little strings in it, and that it is sealed and that the tape isn't cut. Somebody trying to shippy-shappy you and put a little bit of Scotch tape over it. Look at those pictures, ask questions. Somebody advertises mint and box. A friend of mine got duped on that. Said it was mint and box, but when he opened it up, part of it was assembled and a lot of it was off the trees. And frankly, wouldn't fall, all the parts would fall off the trees like that. So there is another one. This does have an OBO with it, or better offer, boxed, and I did look at the seals and they appeared to be legitimate. $425. And again, there are people out there who would pay that. The mint and box collectors, I'm sure, would. I am not a mint and box collector. I thoroughly enjoy having these things loose. That way I could display them and play with them, and review them. So I'm just not a mint and box guy. If I do have one, get one cheap enough mint and box, I'll buy it. But I opened it. And that was in a different video. You could check that out. I shot it from my hospital room one time. So anyway, all that being said, thank you guys very much for those of you who have supported my mother by sending money over to our GoFundMe page. We didn't quite reach the goal, but the page is still up there. I'll put all the information down in the comments, or down, not in the comments, but down that little section that you could read pop up. I forget what that's called. Down in the description. So I'll still put that up. Those bills are still rolling in. Thank you guys all for tuning in, for subscribing to my channel. Look me up on Patreon if you want to support the channel, or if you want to leave me a one-time gift or a tip. I'm on Coffee as well, so also you can put if you can't get through to GoFundMe, go to my Coffee account. One of the viewers did that, and I thought that was very nice of him. He just put it through, and I gave the money to my mom. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys. My numbers are creeping up there. I'm pleased as punch. This channel wouldn't exist without you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. You are the best. So this has been Joe Motion Videos 82. Oh, before I head over to Half the Battle Timmer's channel. He is holding a charity drive, his annual children's charity drive. I'll put that in the description too. Head over there, check out the channel. Some great prizes are being offered. You have 10 days left to check that out. So this has been Joe Motion Videos 82 signing off. You guys have a great day. Be kind to each other. Be kind to animals. Don't drink and drive, especially during this silly holiday season. And don't kill anybody Black Friday shopping. It is not worth it. Every year there's a fatality. People get trampled, and that's just BS. Nothing is worth that. Get caught up in the crowd mentality is easy to do, but you be the better person. All right. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.